My name is James Reynolds. I'm Deputy President of the National Party. I first got involved in politics in 1988 when I was a former member of the Fine Gael Party, and I got rapidly disillusioned with Fine Gael. I came from a Fine Gael background. My family were members of or supported the party, and my grandfather wore the blue shirt, etc. And I knew General Sean McKeown, who was a former minister, Fine Gael Minister for Justice and TD in this area in Longford, Westmeath, and Sean McKeown only lived a few miles from where I'm standing. So you could say this is McKeown country. So it was natural that if I joined a political party, because of the nature of Irish politics and post-Civil War politics, that I would be involved with that party, even though at that stage in 1988-89 it was a party that was led by Alan Dukes. It certainly wasn't the kind of a party that would offer me even 10% of what I wanted in a party, but it's just because of my interest in politics, and I was only 20 years of age at the time. I wasn't in a position to set up my own party at that stage. So I joined Fine Gael, and in 1991 I went before a Fine Gael selection convention for the local county council elections for the then Ballinolea area, and I put my name forward for the Fine Gael nomination, and but I was defeated by a nephew of General Sean McKeown's, who ran in that election but failed to be elected. After 1991, then afterwards, I got involved with the Irish Farmers Association, and toward the end of that year, in October '91, I was elected onto the National Industry and Environment Committee of the IFA to represent Longford County Executive on that committee. And then I remained on that committee, IFA committee, until 1997, and then I was elected onto the IFA Rural Development Committee from then until 2002, and then I was elected onto the IFA Farm Business Committee. I was also county secretary of the IFA in Longford between 1994 and 1999, and I was chairman of Longford County Executive of the IFA between 1999 and 2003, and I was instrumental in causing a rebel faction to exist within IFA, which culminated in the election of former President John Dillon in December 2001. But unfortunately, John Dillon didn't fulfil the promises, his election promises, when he became president. But that's the problem with the system, is that in farm politics or in mainstream politics, is that even if people succeed in electing someone that's radical, there can be hemmed in by the system when they take their elected position, and that was the case with John Dillon. In 2000, also in 2001, I was very much involved in supporting my friend Justin Barrett in the North and East campaign, which was the first time in Irish political history where the Irish people voted no in a referendum on the European Union, Treaty, when they rejected the Nice Treaty in June of 2001, and Justin Barrett was instrumental in achieving that result. I also supported the No campaign to the proposed abortion amendment in 2002. Toward the end of 2002, I was also involved in the second Nice Treaty referendum. And I also, which was a situation where the European Union refused to accept the democratic decision of the Irish people in 2001 to reject the Nice Treaty, and forced the Irish people to vote on it a second time. And as Justin was instrumental in achieving the no vote in 2001, and he led sadly unsuccessful campaign in 2002, but then all the staffs were pulled out by the establishment in the media and throughout the political system here and in Brussels to ensure a yes result prevailed in the second referendum. In 2004, I ran I contested the local elections as an independent candidate. And at the same time, Justin Barrett contested the European Parliament elections, and I supported Justin in those European elections. Justin secured 11,000 votes in those elections for the then Ireland East or Leinster constituency. I ran in the Granard electoral area, and I secured just over 5% of the vote, or 231 first preferences. And with transfers, I was eliminated, having achieved 272 votes. After that, in 2005, I got involved in the a campaign to highlight corruption within the IFA. And I was I led a campaign during the IFA presidential elections. I was dubbed or described as Mr. Clean by the Irish Examiner newspaper, because I organised people to attend debates, presidential election debates in different centres around the country, where different people from different counties asked the same questions about corruption within the IFA and their closeness to the meat industry and the illegal EIF levy and the proximity of IFA to big business interests. I also I held a press conference in Brussels Hotel in January 2006 to expose a file on exposing the links between big business interests, corporate food industry business interests, and the IFA. And also that was in 2006, and then in September 2006 at the Ploughing Championships, I organised a campaign with electronic boards and posters highlighting corruption of the then IFA president Páirtí Walsh, the government minister for agriculture, Fianna Fáil minister Mary Coughlin, and the EU Commission that resulted in that forced the destruction of our sugar industry. That was in September 2006. In 2007, I was approached by a former Fine Gael TD, Louis Belton, to rejoin Fine Gael Páirtí, and offered the prospect of becoming a county councillor in my area. As I wasn't involved in any other political organisation at the time, and at that stage, my friend Justin at this stage he wasn't involved in politics at that period. So I rejoined Fine Gael in 2007, but left them again in 2008 over their support for the Lisbon Treaty, which I campaigned against, and I set up an organisation of former IFA officers and others concerned about the deleterious effects of the Lisbon Treaty on rural Ireland, on agriculture, and on the nation, and set up a group known as Democratic Alliance, and I campaigned, which was really the first Farmers for No campaign, but because we wanted to appeal to more than just the farming community, we call ourselves Democratic Alliance, and we campaigned in the first and successful Lisbon Treaty referendum campaign in 2008, which was the second time in Irish history that the Irish people rejected a European treaty referendum, because the Irish people voted, 54% of them, with a turnout of up to 60% who voted, rejected the Lisbon Treaty. And then in 2009, I was approached by Declan Ganley, the former founder of Libertas, and I joined the pan-European party Libertas, and I in 2009 campaigned in the spring of 2009 in support of Declan Ganley's bid to be elected as an MEP for the Northwest constituency. I also was instrumental in persuading Declan Ganley to nominate my good friend Raymond O'Malley, who was a former livestock chairman of the national livestock chairman of the IFA, and was runner-up in two IFA presidential elections. And I persuaded Declan Ganley to invite Raymond O'Malley to run in the Ireland East constituency, which was the same constituency that Justin Barrett ran in 2004, and Justin won 11,000 votes, mainly on the issue of opposition to mass immigration. And I was instrumental in 2009 in the Leinster Ireland East constituency in persuading my good friend Raymond O'Malley to take up the issue of opposition to mass immigration, and he won 19,000 votes in that election in that constituency on that issue. So after my involvement with, I was also appointed by Declan Ganley as chairman of Libertas Longford for the purposes of that campaign. So after the failure of the Libertas campaign in June 2009, I then we were faced then for the second time within 7 years with a rerun of a European treaty that was a rerun referendum on a European treaty that was rejected by the Irish people, namely this time the Lisbon Treaty. And the second Lisbon Treaty referendum was held in September of 2009, and in August of 2009 I set up the Farmers for No campaign in opposition to it, and I became national chairman of Farmers for No with my good friend and colleague David Thompson, was a former chairman of Limerick County Executive of IFA, who was my vice chairman of the Farmers for No. We also, Farmers for No invited my good friend Nigel Farage, the leader of UKIP, to come to Ireland in his capacity as leader of the Europe for Freedom and Democracy group in the European Parliament. And he was invited by Farmers for No to come over to Ireland to campaign and to support a non-left No campaign. And unfortunately, that was another occasion where the Irish people were conditioned and brainwashed and lied to and browbeaten into voting against their earlier decision and voting yes for. And I remember the platform on which the Lisbon Treaty was sold to the Irish people on the second occasion was vote yes for prosperity. And they voted yes for prosperity in September 2009 in the middle of an economic crash.